So have you cast your ballot, or is it still sitting on the kitchen counter? Time is running out. California's primary election is Tuesday, and a new poll shows for the first time 2 Democrats are leading a close race. The findings released by Emerson College show Javier Becerra in the lead with 28% of support from likely voters. Same poll shows Tom Steyer in second with 22%, Republican Steve Hilton in third with 21%. This is slightly different than the Berkeley IGS poll released yesterday. The nonpartisan survey also shows Becerra in the lead, this time with 25%, but Hilton in this poll is second with 21%, Steyer in third at 19%. And with just a couple of days left to campaign, 4 candidates chose to spend today in the Bay Area looking to sway those still undecided voters. NBC Bay Area's Marianne Favreau joins us now live in the newsroom with how the candidates are making their last-minute appeal. Marianne?
Garvin, it is a fight to the finish. Javier Becerra, Tom Steyer, Steve Hilton, and Chad Bianco all stumped for votes today in the Bay Area, and they all talked about what they would do to make living in this area more affordable. While some Bay Area voters may have already made up their minds and cast their ballots today, thousands have not, which is why 4 prominent candidates for governor are making sure Bay Area voters know where they stand. Javier Becerra is the frontrunner, according to a new Emerson College poll. The former U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services made a stop in San Francisco and San Jose. He says he plans to fight to the end.
I treat every race like an underdog. I've had to treat my life as the life of an underdog. And so you learn to always, as I say, run through the tape. You never take anything for granted.
Billionaire and philanthropist Tom Steyer also visited San Francisco. The Emerson poll has him in second place. Today, he shared his vision for California's future,
where we can fund great schools and health care for all. Because we can tax the hell out of these corporations and billionaires. They got rich here, and then they pulled the ladder up so no one else could get up there. We can have a California where all of our neighbors feel safe.
Republican Chad Bianco spoke in San Jose. The Riverside County Sheriff says he would be a champion for change.
We are by far the greatest state in the country, and we're being ruined by horrific policies that are making it impossible to live here. And you can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result. And it's very apparent throughout this campaign process that no one else is going to change anything.
And this evening, Steve Hilton spoke in San Carlos. The Republican former Fox News host also focused on lowering the cost of living.
Got it in the simplest, quickest way we can help people get more money in their pocket is to stop taking so much out. And so we've got to cut spending so we can cut taxes. My plan is your first 100 grand tax-free.
Now it's up to voters to assess the many candidates and help narrow the field in the race for governor. And a reminder, Tuesday is the last day to vote in person or return your ballot by 8 p.m. Marianne Favreau, NBC Bay Area News.
Thank you, Marianne. Meantime, San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan headed south today for a campaign stop in downtown Los Angeles. He took a tour of the famous Grand Central Market, where he says he talked to many frustrated voters who wonder why the state keeps spending more money and getting the same results. Mahan says he'll dedicate his time in office to addressing their concerns.
I've been sharing with people my ideas for how we make it easier to thrive in California. We've got so much potential, but in many ways our policies just aren't delivering the results that we need.
Democrat Katie Porter, also in Southern California today. She spent the day in Orange County meeting with members of a public employees union and a local labor federation. Porter spoke briefly to about 50 supporters who then hit the streets to campaign for her. Many, of course, have already cast their vote. Election workers in San Francisco were busy processing the ballots they have received so far. This voting center inside City Hall is open through the weekend. Election officials say they've received about 90,000 ballots back so far, which is about 17% turnout in the city.
We're seeing more voters sending ballots back to us as we get closer to Election Day. So I think this election, well, obviously this election will be an Election Day turnout, more or less. So as we go into this final weekend, Monday and Tuesday, as we're going to start to see the bigger turnout.
I often do the mail-in earlier. I think this time I really wanted to see how things were going to play out, and it took me much longer to fill out my ballot. It took about 5 hours last night of research and trying to understand, where people were standing in the polls.
There are about 37 drop boxes set up throughout the city. More than 500 polling places will be open on Election Day. And make sure to stay tuned. Stay with NBC Bay Area for your June primary coverage. We'll be covering the governor's race and so many more on Tuesday. Our coverage will be both on air and online at NBCBayArea.com.